the most important thing for you is you, Kiza, need to be the adult, the healthy parent that wasn't there for Kiza when she was abused as a child, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And always, whenever little Kiza goes down that hole, that pothole where she's like, oh, nobody needs me and loves me, and like sadness and depression, adult Kiza needs to be there and say, no, 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 stop that. I'm here. I got you, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do this together. We're not even going to go there. We're working on this thing right now. We're at work. We're not going to go there. I got you. Okay. I got you. I'm
Yeah.
holding you. I'm loving you. And we're not even going to go there. We each have our own gift to give, and yours is unique. Welcome to the Calvin Correli Show. I'm really excited to have you. Let's go. Wait, we are live now. We are actually live. Happy.
Oh, wow. 3 attendees already.
Yeah, people are filing in. Oh, my God. Quick.
Let's go.
Good. Yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the hell it is, wherever you are. Welcome to the show, my guys. Welcome to the show. I see my mom on there. I think that's my mom. There's not a lot of people with that name. I think it's my mom. Hey, Mom. How are you doing? Happy New Year again. We've spoken.
Got 14 people in here already. Let's go.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. So while we are waiting for people to file in, I was just Jay and I have been watching and talking about some Gary Vaynerchuk over the past couple of days, and I looked up. So almost 10 years ago, like it was in February. It was, I think, early February. Was my sit down with Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, but he's a big, what do we call him? Entrepreneur, social media personality, right? So he and we had a dinner here in New York City in early February 2010. So that would be about 10 years ago. And the way that I made that happen was I wanted to meet him. I wanted to be in front of him. I'd been following him for a while back then, and he's a hard man to reach. Even back then, it was not the easiest thing in the world. He's busy. And his company, VaynerMedia, which he lost, they had this, that you could, do a consulting session with them. And it was going to be 15 grand for like 4 hours of sitting down with him and his brother and some other team members and like do a consulting session. And I was like, $15,000. It's a little stiff for me. But then, yeah, so while you're here, like put your questions in the Q&A and then we'll get to all your questions. I'm here to answer your questions. So put your questions in that Q&A and I'll get to them, and we'll bring you on live and we can chat, we can talk together and make them like super specific as much as possible. Make your questions super specific. All right, so back to the story. So I was trying to meet with Gary. It was going to cost $15,000 to meet with his team officially, but then he has this book coming out called Crush It. And he had this deal: buy 500 copies of my book and you get a dinner. And I'm like, sure, I'll buy 500 copies of your book. So I did. I bought 500 copies of his book, and I'll show you guys the order confirmation. I just bought them here on Amazon. Hold on. This is unrelated. Don't update system audio right now. No. So this is the order. I had it shipped. My name back then was Last Pin, but I had them shipped to my friend Jonathan Feldman over at Guilt Group to his office. It was a total, so you can see there's like 8 shipments, 30, 40 books in each, 500 books shipped to the Guilt offices. I never saw them. I never saw like any of them. I didn't see the boxes. I didn't get any of the books. I didn't care about the books. I didn't want the books. They were like, what are we going to do with them? I was like, can you like donate them to something? They ended up, I think I don't know what they ended up doing with them, honestly. We tried to see if Strand Bookstore, like a used bookstore here in New York, wanted them. They didn't. So anyway, but I bought 500 copies of his book, and I got to have a dinner with Gary, and it was really cool. It was actually, I learned a ton from that experience, from meeting with him. I ended up meeting him several times since and connecting with him. I haven't seen him in a while. I'll be seeing him in like 10, 11 days now. So that'll be fun. I don't know if he'll remember me, but he did recognize me and remember me, like, several years after when I met him. It will be fun to see. He's definitely a good guy. So that was how I ended up sitting down with Gary. And he was like, that's a good hustle. Is like, you got it at like a, 67% discount right there, So yeah,
I love
ended
it.
up meeting him. Yeah.
It's the first time ever hearing this story. I've been your
Yeah.
right-hand man for months. That's awesome.
I know, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's just, you got to do like those meeting those people, just hearing those things. Like, he gave me insights that were super useful, just on myself, really, as a business person, and trying to understand the world that I was in, and information marketing and all that stuff. And yeah, taking those opportunities and just like jumping in. $6,000 is what it ended up costing me. That was still a significant chunk of money for me 10 years ago, right? So it wasn't, it was still an investment. But I was like, plus I had, flight to New York, and like I could stay with my friend Jan. So that was helpful. But all of that, but so damn worth it. So that's the option there, like to say yes to those experiences. I was actually planning on telling you guys my sort of my origin story, but you probably heard me say that before, about how I awakened to my life purpose of integrating spirituality and entrepreneurship 12 years ago. So I'm not actually going to tell that story because we have questions here. So I think we should just get straight into the questions. What do you say, Jay?
Let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and turn my video off, and I'll bring some questions on. So we got Christina. She's got a great question about her brand. Let's bring her on as a panelist.
All right. And then we'll have Keiser after. If you can write in English, because Jay's Danish is kind of rusty. That's helpful. But let's talk to Christina. And then Jay, let people know who's going to be next so they can prepare.
Absolutely.
Nice. How are y'all feeling this day? New year, new opportunities. We're already a week into this, right? A week into the new year.
All right, Christina, you should be able to turn your video on now, and ask your question.
Start video.
There you go. Hey, Christina.
Okay, hi.
Hi. Great to see you.
You too. Thank you. So I have a bunch of subjects in the health and healing field. Should I choose one and make that my brand and focus on that? Or should I be the brand and then just do all the different things that I...
What are the 3 to 5 subjects? What are they like?
Well, I have a intentional soup show kind of course, some stuff around birth and postpartum.
Intentional soup?
Yeah, intentional soup is that's the brand I was working on. So that's
what is that?
Healing. It's healing through the art of soup making.
Okay, nice.
Going in, working with food and bringing food from farms to people, and also making the soup itself, but putting intentions in and healing. Nice. So that's like my big thing right now that I've been doing. But then all the other things too, I'm not sure if I should just like everyone says, focus on one thing, and so that's the thing that I decided last month I'd focus on. Right. And then this morning I was like, well, maybe I should do all the other things. And so I'm just confused. Like,
I get it. I totally get it. So like, so the intentional soup, we had postpartum something.
Yeah, I have a birth film that I made. So it's like healthy birth, pregnancy, postpartum. So I have stuff around that. And then I'm a healing arts practitioner. So I have stuff around living a healthy life and all of that.
Right.
So.
And what is your brand about? Your personal brand?
Well, that's what well, the thing is, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out like how to put it together. And it's like, is it about me? And then I just teach these things, or
Right.
am I like, should I just do one thing and teach that? So
All right.
that's my
This is a great question. This is a phenomenal question because this is exactly where I am right now. Uh,
Uh,
and it's so it's a struggle that I'm very familiar with. And I'll tell you what I'm doing and
Okay.
what my strategy is. And I will be honest, I have not made it work yet, but I'm convinced that I will. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is, right? So I have Simplero, I have PAFI, the workout program. I have Body Meal and meal replacement powder, and then the sort of my own coaching and my own brand, right? And for me, it's the same thing. My brand is sort of what ties all this together, because I'm about, I'm about business and entrepreneurship. I'm about health and relationships and creativity and living your life purpose and integrating spirituality with sort of the concrete, practical day to day. I'm about all of those things. And so the strategy that I'm going for is focusing. So my focus business wise is definitely on Simplero, right? That's where the money's coming from. That's what has the momentum. And so I want to build on that momentum and really double down there. And then that's going to help elevate me and my personal brand, right? So that gets to feed off of Simplero, but my brand is bigger than that. And so that lets me then talk about these other things. So, and then the other, like there are people who are going to be just super interested in the workout, right? And then they hear about me there. And so the idea is that each of these become a business in their own right. They bring in their own set of customers, but then once you're a customer of one of these brands, you're going to kind of hear about the other things, right? And so that helps customer acquisition costs across the brands, and then that helps build my brand. I think it's easier to build your brand off of a concrete business than it is to just be like, I'm going to build my brand sort of in the abstract. So that is my strategy. And I'm also in that like, well, what is my brand about kind of thing? It's like, oh, I'm trying to figure out and narrow down. And the funny thing is that I know, and I've known for 12 years, but there's still that part of me that keeps getting confused and thinking that it's about other things, but it is about that. For me, spirituality, entrepreneurship, left brain, right brain, like the logic and the mystery and combining those and living in that intersection. So yeah, I bet that there's a similar kind of like, well, this is what I'm really about, like this one thing. And it goes again and again, that's the through line through all the specific businesses that you do, right? Or specific offerings that you have. But I would say, I same thing, like when I told my mom, who's on this call, that I was going to do Body Meal, she was like, well, shouldn't you focus? And I'm like, yeah, I should, but I don't want to, right? Like, and what I found was that it was a distraction from Simplero, but it gave me so much inspiration and so much excitement to try. I've been doing software my entire life, and now I'm doing this physical product that has actual inventory and manufacturing and a completely new business that I know nothing about. And so the excitement of trying to figure all that stuff out, it was, just unleashed energy. And then I learned things that I can then apply to Simplero, on all levels, marketing and team and strategy and whatnot. So yeah, be aware that, it is a distraction. So what I would do in your case is pick one, probably that might be the intentional soup, maybe one other that you're really passionate about, and then focus on getting that piece up where people end up following you personally for you. And then hear about, like, discover the other stuff. You don't need to push it on them, like, but just make it easy for them to discover, like, oh, she's also doing that thing, right? And that really helps to like, oh, he's a software guy, but he also does music and he has his health product. Like, how does that work? Like, it just, adds some depth to it and makes people curious.
So the brand, so intentional soup is the one I was planning on. So that would be my brand, what I focus everything on.
That
And
would be your primary
through.
business.
Oh, primary
right.
business. Okay.
Right. And it has its own brand, but then you're also part of that brand. And so you use it so that people hear about Intentional Soup, and then they're like, you know, Christina, who's this Christina person? And then they follow you. And then Christina also talks about all these other things. Like when it comes to your personal brand, just make it personal, right? I love cooking, so I talk about cooking. I love music. I make music, so I talk about that. Like the more flavors of you can bring into your personal brand, I think the more people can connect and relate. I wouldn't narrow down my personal brand. I would make that just personal, the things you care about, right? Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Awesome.
I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Christina. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Glad to help. Yeah.
All right. And the next one is Kizzer. I can't read his question. Calvin, if that's something you want to answer, we can bring him on. I'm not sure what it says.
Kizzer. I think Kizzer is a she, and let's try to bring her on.
All right. Perfect.
If she's willing to speak English. Let's see. And then who's next after Kizzer? You're muted, Jay, if you're speaking.
We've got David next after Kizzer. I'm going to go ahead and make Kizzer a panelist right now. Perfect. All right, you can go ahead and turn your video on.
So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. And I do
Can we
speak
see
English. I'm better at English than I am at writing. I'm trying to see if I can get my, yep. Technique is not my strong side, you see.
I think you were hitting the mute button before when you're trying to find the camera button. They're separate.
Oh, might be, yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Wow.
Yeah, success.
Technique. So
well done. You've already succeeded.
I've succeeded in that. Yes.
Yes.
So how do I raise my self-worth in a very good and giving exercise?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell me about that.
Story, yeah. The story about me is I'm 57.
Mm-hmm.
At 52 years old, I discovered I was confirmed in that I was an incest child from 0 to 13 years. And I have been struggling all my life with my self-worth, but my self-confidence has always been strong. So I'm really puzzled about how can I be so self-confident in very many different situations, but my self-worth is so low. How can I rise it?
Yeah. How do you do low self-worth?
Oh, I'm like going into a black hole where I feel unloved, not needed, not maybe not having the right to be in this world. And I know that I have, because my self-confidence tells me that I have some kind of life purpose, which I haven't found yet. I'm a masseur and I do healing. And
so just focusing on the how you do low self-worth. So what I'm hearing, and I know I'm very familiar with this. I have very much been in where you are. You feel unloved and unneeded and maybe no right to be here is what I heard.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's several different angles that we can go with this, or that you can go with this. And I'll give you some books that have been super helpful for me as well. But on one level, it's like, well, if we're talking about other people's love, maybe you are unloved. I don't think you are, right? But even just like fighting against that idea, like maybe nobody loves me, maybe nobody needs me. Can I be okay with that? Like, do I love me, right? Like, do I need, like, maybe I am worthless, and that's okay. Like, if we can find peace in that feeling, is like, then it takes the charge out of it. Well, maybe I mean, like realistically, right? Like, someday we'll die, and then like people will mourn for a bit, and then their lives will go on. It's just the nature of the beast, right? We're all gonna die. Life is gonna move on. And so like maybe not hinge your self-worth on anything that other people need to do and other people needing to love you, but just be okay with being a nobody in a way. I'm not saying you are, right? But what I'm saying is when you go the opposite direction, be like, all right, so I'm worthless and nobody needs me or loves me. And can I just be like, how does that feel inside of me? And can I be okay with that? Then it takes this thing out of it.
Perspective.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we don't need to chase it and like, oh no, I need to see proof that someone needs me and someone loves me. And like, maybe they don't. Maybe they knew now, but not, or like they did yesterday, but not today. Or like, I mean, people are fickle, right? If we need other people for our sense of self-worth, that's not it's not very reliable. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a new angle.
Yeah.
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 Definitely is.
Yeah. And there is the whole thing is it's just a story in our heads, right? Like for me, it was like, they didn't love me the right way. They didn't see me. They didn't understand me. And then I kept replaying that, and I would keep like returning to some of those stories. Like, well, see, I can't, and nobody, and I'm unhappy, and nobody cares, and I keep returning to those stories. I had a moment with Gay Hendricks some years ago where he was like, Calvin, you need to lose your fascination with your story, right? With your story of suffering, right? Like, just drop it. Like, and I think there's value in recognizing the pain and the suffering and not being in denial about it, right? And feel the feelings that come up. But it's very easy to get stuck there and then just reinforcing, well, there is this story, this thing did happen, and yada, 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 right? And then like every time it comes up, we're like, well, yeah, instead of being like, feel the pain, like the most important thing for you is you, Kiza, need to be the adult, the healthy parent that wasn't there for Kiza when she was abused as a child, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And always, whenever little Kiza goes down that hole, that pothole where she's like, oh, nobody needs me and loves me, and like sadness and depression, adult Kiza needs to be there and say, no, stop that. I'm here. I got you. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to do this together. We're not even going to go there. We're working on this thing right now. We're at work. We're not going to go there. I got you. Okay. I got you. I'm holding you. I'm loving you. And we're not even going to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. Good angle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. That's really powerful. Thank you for being so vulnerable about coming on here. That's amazing.
I was going to say that too.
Well, I think the more I tell my story and are open about it, the more other people will start to be open about it, and then dissolve all of this being caught in the act, being caught in the history and so forth.
Totally.
So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
No
it's
more
bigger than
cooking.
most people
Yeah.
recognize, like incest, sexual abuse, child abuse.
Yeah.
Like it's way, way bigger than most people realize.
It's 1 in 10 person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not more. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for showing the way, Kiza.
yeah, you're welcome, and thank you for your answer.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, next we've got David. David, I'm gonna bring you on. If you'd like to turn your video on, you can. Let's see, we'll go answer live. Let's find David down here. Okay, just give me 1 second. Promote the panelist.
All right, David, exciting.
Cool, David, you should be able to turn your video on now. Perfect.
Success. Great job.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, David.
Thank you for those questions. And it's almost, I almost feel like just being here is already sort of answering this question, but anyway, we won't go there right now. But here's what came to me this morning, and it's a little bit broad, there's an oxymoron. The question is really something I've contemplated for years. How can we authentically trust the flow of our creation, at the same time using effort and will, but without forcing things? And so I sort of synthesize this into sort of allowing rather than avoiding.
Mm-hmm.
And without going into my story too much, and honoring, the stories that we just heard.
Well, I kind of want to go into your story, David.
Okay, I could do that.
Well,
Just don't get me
here's
started.
here's what I mean, just to give some structure and boundaries to that. Like, so it sounds to me like you're in a bit of a self-made bind here with some beliefs that are conflicting into your head, inside of your head, right? I picked up on the word authentically trust in the flow of creation. Like what's with the use of the word authentically, Larry? Like, is there an inauthentic way to trust in the process of the flow of creation?
Okay, so full disclosure, I stole the first part of that question from my morning reading. But what it's about is this sort of, I would guess I'd have to call it sort of an old paradigm where we set a goal. We've been pushed to set these big goals. I'm going to be a public speaker. I'm going to make $10,000 a month, or whatever. And then we sort of strive to hit them. And in my case, it's just like, that doesn't work for me. So I fail miserably.
So what are your
and
goals?
I pick myself up and continue. And part of it is in the not knowing, being stuck. Like sort of in the not knowing, or not only the not knowing, but there's so many possibilities. And so that's why the first questioner was such a good question for me too. There's so many possibilities that you don't want to choose one and just do it because of the loss that's felt of all the rest of you somehow. Does that make sense?
A little bit. so let me try to speak to this and see if we get somewhere. So I think what makes life exciting, right, is that we don't know what's going to happen, right? If we knew like, oh, here are my, like, we're human beings, we desire things, right? We want things. That's the nature of the beast, right? But we don't know if we're going to get it. And that's what makes it exciting, right? When you are watching a football game or whatever your sport is, or whatever, but you get the analogy, right? And you already know the score, that kind of takes the excitement out of it, right? There's the, I forget what it is, but Joseph Campbell talks about in that famous, Power of Myth thing, that like 6-hour thing that he did on PBS years ago. If you haven't seen that, it's worth watching. I've been through it a couple times. But one of the stories he talks about is this ancient Indian culture where, Hinduism, and I forget, I'm going to mess up all the names. I'm not even going to try, but like essentially like all of life is this, happens in this God's dreams. And the essence of the story that I want to tell is like, if you got to choose your own life and make it anyway, anything you wanted, like life would just turn out exactly the way you wanted, right? Then at first you would be like, banging all the cute chicks and eating all the delicious foods and travel and see all these things, and everything would just be smooth sailing, right? You do that a couple lifetimes and then you get bored with that. And then you would slowly introduce challenge and failures and setbacks and like one thing after the other, because it gets boring without it. And eventually you would end up with exactly the life that you're living today, right? So like the challenge is the fun part. And so like, yes, we want something, and then we want to, like what like the forcing, right? Like whenever I can feel that tension in my body where I'm forcing, I'm stressing, I'm living out in the future, but it's stopped being fun. It's stopped being, I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. And if it never leads to anything, that's okay. Like whenever I get out of that mode, I need to change, right? There's something that I need to let go of in my mind. There is some belief, some emotional piece or something. I just need to reset and be like, what am I excited about? What would be fun to do here? Like, what would I enjoy doing? Or can I find a way to make it fun and enjoyable to do the thing that I know I need to do, right? Eat healthy and like exercise and all those things, right? Does this get at what you're trying to ask at all?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it does. And it's also sort of a confirmation. Like I'm sort of like a person that needs to be told over and over again what I really already know. And just where I'm at right now is feeling some strange stuff in my solar plexus. And I'm always aware of that because I've been through, part of my story is like, diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the year 2001, going through major surgery, going through this healing, becoming attuned to sort of this healing energy. And so I really wanted to be on because I know that you're about sort of integrating business and spirituality. And that's been my sort of inner conflict or inner game, or sometimes an inner flow. And, attempted a business 10 years ago and kind of crashed and burned financially, then got a teaching certificate, came out of that and just, resigned that. And now I'm like, got on Simplero this summer and like, I knew I wasn't ready to make a course, but I had to take the course creation challenge. That was where I was at then. Nice. Took a whole bunch of courses, went through another sort of, I'll say smoky because we had all those fires, smoky period in the fall. And so I feel like there is a joy bubbling up. And I know that I need to live in the uncertainty because it's just sort of who I am. I'm a serial career changer, right?
Something you might want to play with is the feminine and the masculine energies, right? So the feminine is the piece that is like very attuned, like I'm feeling this stuff and I'm in this process and trusting the flow and like all of that, right? And the masculine is much more, here's where I'm going and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do, and you just get there, right? That's something that I've worked a lot with and been very conscious of. And I think we tend to get stuck on one side, right? And then like just live there. And then when that's not working, we do more of that instead of switching into the opposite side. What we want to be doing is we want to be freely choosing, I'm going to go in my masculine, I'm going to go in my feminine, right? You can tell just like the way I spoke with Kissa, I went way more into my feminine because there's a need for a healing energy there. Right now, just the tone of my voice, you can tell I'm way more in my masculine, right? So we want to be able to choose. I would challenge you to like really embrace your masculine. So that would be like strength, focus, structure, discipline. Forget the fun. Honestly, forget the piece about it having to be fun for a minute, because you have to challenge yourself out of that place to really like drive some fucking results, like, and get the body involved. and then the fun will come again, right? Like when I got into my body 3 years ago, it was 8 hours a week of working out, and I hated it for 2 months, right? But I'd promised myself I would do it, and I would find a way to make it enjoyable as much as I could, but I still kind of hated it for 2 months. And then it got fun, right? Then I've been enjoying it since. So that's what I'm seeing, something like that. And you like let's get that masculine energy activated here.
Yeah, I just got to honor you and let somebody else come on for a question, because here's the thing. My quote unquote business, which was really more of a hobby, was trying to address my sort of what I called spiritual embarrassment. And so I would choose animals. There's a story behind this too, and a book started and everything else, but I would choose an animal to speak for Divine Mother and Heavenly Father. And that was my journal, Animal Balance Journal. Other part that really so fits, I mean, kudos to your intuition, is I joined a men's group last summer, and I've been involved with it, and it's been a challenge for me because I'm sort of like, you know, all these sort of, you know, spiritual stuff, there's 90% women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a chance for men to really bond, and I'm really getting into it, and I'm actually going to be one of the facilitators this year, because I just really believe in it. It brought me back to sort of some men's retreats we did with my meditation circle and so on. So I just wanted to say right on.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
And I don't know anything about you and your relationship with your dad, or if he's still alive or anything, but that's a good place to start, like healing that relationship.
Oh yeah, highly intellectual guy, very different from me, but a very big heart, still alive.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. David, brother.
Awesome, David.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Okay. Cool.
Nice.
All right. Next, we've got, let's see, we've got Martin next. He's still around. Martin, we're going to answer your question. I'm going to make you a panelist right now.
And who do we have after Martin?
After Martin, we got Mads.
All right. How are you doing on time? We got lots of questions here.
We're at 8:34 right now.
I don't know that we'll get to them all, but we'll see how far we get. Let's try.
Okay, Martin, let me make you a panelist so that you can turn your video on. Asked to start video. All right, Martin, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Hi.
What up, brother?
Hi.
Hey there.
Hi. Nice to be here. Yeah, you see my question. It's
please speak it for everybody.
Yeah. I just want to start say I really enjoyed all the other questions. A lot of things that were interesting to hear. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, really. And I'm having this company. We're calling it Spirit of Man. And it's actually just for men, and it's spiritual development for men. It's bringing actually business and the spirituality together. Yeah, so it's very much. I wrote you a letter, email this week, Calvin. So
I remember.
don't know. Yeah. So and we've just been launching the day after Christmas. We launched. Our program that is Unleash Your Highest Potential, where we try to really bring everything together. And we have signups that are interested, not signups paying yet, but they're like, we have like 40 persons going into a lot of emails right now in automation. So we hopefully we are convincing them to sign up for the program. And my question is very straightforward. Is it reasonable to to charge 750 euros for a 12-week course? That's my question. And in the 12-week course, it's very well thought through weeks with tasks to contemplate. And you every week you also have a Zoom meeting to get to know others, and there is this the forum to get to know others is a big part of it also. So, but just price wise, we don't know. We don't want to put it too low, but we just really are fumbling here. We don't know, is this right price or not? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean the truth about pricing is that, like, you either just pull it out of thin air or you test, right? Is it reasonable to charge $750? Yours would be like around $1,000, give or take, right? I would think, yeah. Absolutely. Like just, in a vacuum, whether people are willing to pay that, right, completely depends on who those people are. Do they have that kind of money? Do they really, like, have you painted a clear picture of the outcome for them? Is it believable? Do they want it? Do they want it bad enough that they want to invest the money and the time and the effort? Do they trust you? Do you have that kind of relationship? Like, so there's so many factors that go into it, but like, you can charge 10x that. You could charge 100, maybe not. Well, but you can easily charge 10x that for just based on what you've told me. So it's not really about the price or the content or what it is. It's much more about the who the customer is and what your relationship is with them.
Yeah. And that's where we're trying to build this up. So since they obviously from the start they don't know us, so we put a lot of energy into making videos and very personal videos, and we are very inspired in your way of writing, Calvin, I must say. So we use this very personal letters in writing, and we have the films, and so we're building the confidence. But okay, so
well, how many people do you need in the program?
Well,
to make it like for the community piece to function? Are we talking like 5-10 people? Or
yeah, I mean, we need a small group to get started now. So like if we have like 6-7, or we are having this picture of having 12 to 15 persons, then we can start the program and start.
And what kind of audience do you have now?
The audience, we are doing advertising on Facebook from all over Europe. So we've been doing this in Sweden. We've been doing travel hikes where we have, and the offering was to travel to go on to Scotland, to West Highland Way, to walk for a week. And so we've been doing that for 2 years with walking, but it obviously 2020 didn't go that well because it was Corona. So there were no walking. So we did some small thing in Sweden. So we built up this just Swedish people, and then we said we have to do this in English, and my partner is Scottish, so we're doing it now totally in English. So we're a bit like starting over again in the English language, and then now we're doing the advertisement out in Europe. So we got like 40 persons out there that has signed up for wanting to know more.
And you're getting the leads from Facebook, you said, right?
Yeah, from Facebook. We tried LinkedIn, but we didn't get much, so we stopped that again.
Can you find partners? Can you find affiliate partners that would mail in this? I think that's where I would go. I think so. I don't have any good experience really with Facebook personally. Again, I know it can work, but I think you tend to get a lot of crap leads. And I think the gap to selling a €750 product, that might be too steep for like cold traffic that don't know you and don't trust you. I think that you just might need to sell them something cheaper and give them time to know, like, and trust you before they're going to buy something pricey like this. But if you can find affiliate partners that will use their existing trust relationship with their audience to promote your stuff, then that's a much quicker way and less risky, right? Because you only pay on the sale.
Okay, I can try that. Another way is what you were talking about now, that you do something smaller. We're trying to, maybe we do just a meeting, make it very small, not a program, but just a meeting, online meeting, and take charge a small amount and get them to know us.
Right. Yeah.
Start there, maybe. So, and then we can, Okay, but I don't want to take too much time. I know there are many people who want to ask questions. I'd be really happy to speak to you, and thanks for the answer.
Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Boom.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Martin.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Cool. Okay. Next, we've got Mads. Mads, if you're still here, I'm going to bring you on. You can turn your video on if you'd like. Okay, let's see here. Allow her to talk.
One of these days, I'm going to build a system, a tool for this that's simpler. You're gonna have to, or you don't have to like promote panelist and blah, blah, blah,
I know all these
all
steps. It's working for us, though.
Right?
Here we go. Can you hear me?
There he is.
Absolutely. Hey, Mats.
Great. Hi. Yeah, my question. Yeah, of course you can read it, but I've tried to put it the way that how do you boil down your purpose to a mission, and I distinguish between purpose and mission because I think purpose is the reason for me being in the world, but mission is what I should do to
right. Are you on a boat?
Purpose.
Are you on a boat, Mass? Are you on a
I'm in a boat. I live on a boat. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. Where are you? Where in the world are you?
I'm in Aarhus, Denmark.
Okay, cool.
For the time being, I have another boat in the Canary Islands where I am mostly in the winter. So yeah.
Nice. So cool. All right. I was like, that looks very much like the
interior
of a boat.
It is.
All right, cool. So yeah. So what is your purpose?
My purpose is to facilitate awakening, help people, freeing them from the bonds in their mind, to free the mind. I think that's a purpose. I feel like I am here to point at something that people suffering can't see. So I'm a pointer.
Pointer to freedom from suffering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then mission. Purpose, but what is my mission then? And
I don't know. Tell me.
That's about target audience actually, because who am I supposed to have as my target audience for this? I've been trying to set up an online course for consciousness training, I could call it, with thought inquiry, meditation, contemplation, stuff like that, breath work also, and some yoga and stuff. And I find that far too abstract. I think people do too. Then I've tried to boil it down to a course.
So tell me, like, where are you at right now? Do you have a business? Do you have an audience? What was the last kind of business thing you did?
Actually, I'm a musician. So nice. I'm working now to create an entirely new business.
Got it. What kind of music?
Pardon?
What kind of musician?
I'm a classical violinist.
All right.
And I've been teaching children playing the violin for many years and played in different symphony orchestras. So this is definitely something completely new. But I've been doing spiritual and mental coaching for the past 5-6 years.
Yes. Is there a connection between the music and the spiritual growth for you?
No, no, actually not. I think the only thing they have in common is that being a musician is to reach for the divine, and actually I think
and be in the present moment.
Yeah. And maybe I feel that I got a better chance to reach to the divine when doing what I'm doing now. I feel more connected to people. I feel I can
So I mean, I would definitely look for a way to leverage your history, your success to jump into the next thing, right? It's very hard to jump in like just start something new completely from scratch. But if you can be the spiritual violinist and like you can tell stories about like how you got from like how you evolved with the violin. I'm just making stuff up here, right? But that's why I was asking, is there some sort of connection, right? Where you're like, you know, you can bring the music into it some way. That's a way to stand out, right? And be, you know, be unique in your story instead of jumping into a field where there's, I mean, there's tons of, you know, people doing, you know, mindfulness training and spiritual stuff. And so you have to find a way to make yourself unique. So if you can leverage your story and you can leverage even better an audience that knows you, that's always super helpful, right? If not, I'd say find a way. Like, even if you just kind of have to kind of half make up a story that's not actually like untrue, but like just, you know, bring people into, like, because like when I hear of like a classically trained violinist, it seems very like mindful and peaceful and calm and like all that. And I know that probably the day-to-day reality of work life as a violinist, but is not that. But then you can tell the story of how, well, you needed this like spiritual growth in order to, or something. I mean, there has to be something in your past life that prompted you to get into that spiritual world, right? So talk about that. Yeah, in terms of target audience, like work with people you know, or people like people you know, right? So maybe the people that your students, you see patterns, and there's like, you can work with them or people like them. Or if you were training kids, maybe their parents, and you see some trends, and you can again tell a story. Like, I used to teach all these kids violin, and like every time their parents would come and drop them off and like and pick them up, I noticed blah 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 blah, and then like that can be your entryway into something. I would look in that direction. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My own story is perhaps not as much about music, though I might be able to bring it into the story. But my own awakening was through a very strong emotion of jealousy. And then I considered if writing a book about my journey from extreme jealousy to freedom of mind and releasing the power of love inside of me through that awakening, and then making, for instance, an online course about jealousy. But then again, like you're like, okay,
I like it.
I thought that's maybe too narrow or too.
Oh, no, I like it. I like that a lot, actually. Like, so what, like, yeah, how jealousy became my salvation. Like, I'm not saying use that language, but like, or that word, but those words, but that idea. Yeah. Cause like, I'm assuming like we're talking about another person, jealousy around another human.
Definitely.
Yeah. I would definitely, I think that's super powerful. There's a lot of people that feel a lot of jealousy, right? It's a very common, it's a very strong emotion that for people that have it. And I'm guessing that a lot of those people would like freedom from that and would like to use it, not just be rid of jealousy, but use it as a breakthrough, right? How jealousy, which you always thought were your enemy, can become your biggest ally, your biggest friend, and your biggest breakthrough, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fucking compelling. I think it is. It sounds compelling to me.
Okay. Yeah.
We've got Heather in the chat says she likes it too. So there you go. You already got a networking opportunity.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
I'll launch Monday.
Sweet. Cool. Good job.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Mats.
Cool. Thank you.
Can we do one more? Right. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, we're almost at the hour mark, but we can continue for as long as you want, man.
All right, let's do one more.
All right. Sure. All right. Lillian, I will bring you on right now. She is.
Hello.
Hey, Lillian.
Hello.
Let me just get your video on.
Yeah, here we are.
Cool. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello. Nice to meet you, Kelvin. Hello.
Good to meet you.
I really like your energy. I love it. Thank you so much for everything you're doing to us.
Thank you. Likewise.
Simplero fans. Okay.
Thank you so much.
this is a dating question.
All right, let's do it.
You know, I've been working with Simplero for a couple of years, use it as a platform. And I'm working with quizzes, and I have courses, and I'm doing webinars, and I have replay on the webinars, and I'm doing funnels. And this year I'm going to expand.
Nice.
And, you know, I want to attract people who's much better than I am to doing funnels, doing my Facebook ads, and also understand this, that the spiritual way is one part of working. We just use the guides to work powerful together and do a huge difference in the world.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know any person in Sweden or could, because, you know, it's okay with my English, and I will expand global, but it would be so nice for me to find someone who could also work with me in my own language to do these funnels in Sweden.
I totally understand. It's so funny that you bring this up, because just yesterday, I had a conversation with Deanna, my head of customer support, and we were talking about someone who's like, you know, from Scandinavia, who's using, you know, support and asking a lot of questions, and we're just like, you know, I think it's frustrating both ways, because we're not really able to help her. I mean, we have people on the team that speak Scandinavian, but beyond that, it was just, she needed more. And we want to give that, but we haven't been able to figure it out. And there's like, what if we had like a peer-to-peer support kind of thing where people like yourself could meet other people like yourself, and you could work together in your own little groups and support each other. So Lillian froze for me. Did she freeze for everybody else? And
she's frozen for me as well.
Okay, cool. Well, you can hear me, so that's good. See if we can get her back. Anyway, I'm just going to keep my answer. So I think that's a phenomenal idea, and it's something that we might eventually facilitate on a more organized level. Not right now. What I suggest that you do is, like, first of all, being on here is great. It means that you other people are going to see you, right? So now we're going to put this video out there. Maybe someone sees you and gets in touch with you. So like, make sure you connect with Jay on how they can actually reach you, so we can put that out there. We can put that clip out on my social media and Simplero's social media, and then maybe someone responds and gets in touch, and they're like, hey, I want to be part of that group. So you're doing the right thing. You're getting everybody, you're putting your name and your face out there. And of course, we also have a Facebook group where you can post in. Hey, Lillian, welcome back. I don't know if you heard any of that.
I just heard the beginning. It was, I'm on the telephone now. So
all right, cool. Well, we'll get you the recording of this, okay? Because I gave you a pretty a full answer here, and I appreciate the question. I think it's a great question, and it's something that we would love to, like, help you find that peer group. Yeah. Nice.
Yes, thank you so much. I look forward to the replay of this.
All right, nice. Jay, make sure that you get.
Get.
Yeah, make sure that you get Lillian's contact info somehow and get the video to her.
I'm on it. Hey, Lillian, by the way, there's some people in the chat saying that you guys know each other and they want to meet up and share experiences. That's awesome.
There you go.
Wow.
So, all right.
Okay.
Martin says that you guys met. Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you, Lillian.
Thank you so much. Look forward to this year and the traveling with Simplero and you. Woo!
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. The new dating services. All right, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Lillian.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. So thank you so much for everyone who showed up. We're gonna do this again. So I know that we didn't get to all of your questions. I'm so sorry, but next time, get your question in the queue super early. I want to get to them. So thank you so much. This is super fun. So much fun that we're gonna freaking do it again. So stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled. Follow my social media. Jay can give you all of the links, or I'm sure you can find me all over Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Anchor, all the places. So, and yes, we're going to have the video out from this on YouTube as well. And yeah, thank you guys. Fun, great energy, super fun. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you very much.
Alrighty. Thank you guys. This was great. Thank you guys so much.
Yes. All right. So on that, we hit, what do we do now? We hit
can just
end.
hit leave. Yeah. Thank you guys.
All right. Cool. All right. Bye, guys.
What up, YouTube? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, even if you freaking didn't, hit the subscribe button so you get more videos from me, and also hit the bell button so you get tick, 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 notified whenever there is a new video from me. Thank you very much. I'll catch you next time.